토요일날 저녁 8시가 됩니다. 오늘 삼육대학교 예배에 갔다 와서 오늘 그 바자인가 한다고 점심이 부실하게 뭐 떡덩이 떡 조각에 한 조각씩 줘가지고 배가 고파서 와가지고 잔뜩 먹고 한숨 자고 조금 전에 몇 시간 전에 일어나서 내 주식 배추국 재료인 배추 한 망에 14,800원 큰 3개 덩어리 들어있는 거, 내일 마실 교회 갔다 와서 마실 막걸리, 남은 막걸리가 좋은데 다 떨어져 가지고 다른 거 하나 사다가 놓고 자기 전에 좀 책 좀 읽어야 되겠습니다. 자, 신문 기사를 쭉 좀 지나간 신문 기사들인데 스크랩한 걸 좀 읽겠습니다. This year make a global resolution. What if instead of focusing on improving ourselves, we focused on improving the world. Voted this sentence. He's a monster. He's a monster, but he's your monster. Sexy lounges, slinky dresses, and high heels get old. I craved kale salad, sobriety, and a good night to the sleep. Slinky. Draw out the best in others. Since Project Renew began its work in partnership with Norwegian People's Aid, an organization that operates land mine clearing operation in more Lord help us. What should those of us who have consistently opposed him do? But this goes beyond Islamophobia, as heinous as it is, and beyond Israel and Gaza. Even if the cost to build it is high. In a special scenario, the value of having our own constellation is unlimited. Populist have many faces, have many faces, but their commonality can be found in their sheer dismissal of the democratic process and the rule of law. Commonality. Though he has returned to the university, his research lab has been disbanded. I don't think we've moved into a high inflation regime. Don't you want to make hospitals sustainable workplace? Sustainable workplaces. Please do not doubt the government's sincerity, he wrote. The situation for more than half of graduates remains unknown to the authorities. More women than men, 32% versus 23%, and people in higher income countries compared to low income countries, 37% versus 16%, do not undertake a sufficient amount of physical activity. We are not taking anyone's water out of their tap. I don't have anything to do with the municipal water supplies. Stop resisting change. Navigating this gulf requires equal parts ruggedness and flexibility. Another writer said he was elegant and skilled, as if dancing. It can last in this state 5 to 10 years, or it can change within 5 years. First, Poor Things was a weird novel. If Lennox made Gray a critical darling, Poor Things brought him closer to mainstream acceptance when published a decade later. U.S. operations of Hyundai Kia turned profitable in 2023. Hyundai Motors audit report also showed that its Indonesian manufacturing plant in West Java turned into the black. turned into the black last year with 81 billion won in net income, while it posted 36 billion won in net loss in 2022. The world loves a good scammer. Why an Arctic explorer is but North Korea is as belligerent as ever, and China is now viewed in the South as part of the problem, propping up its communist neighbor while doing little to prevent its acquisition of missile and nuclear technology. I had spent that day taking every personality test personality testing is an industry worth roughly $2 billion, according to Thomas, a psychology professor and author of iHuman, who estimated the value of the largest personality testing companies. If we were all PhDs in the laboratory working on the etiology of Kawasaki disease, there would be a different place to it, Dr. B said. Etiology. Mushroomed into. Their supposed rivalry has been manipulated for years now to generate the nostalgia for social hierarchies of an idealized past. When Lobo Telex went to force with on the paper, fear then half of the tested grasshopper fled. In the summer, he said he exercised at 5:30 a.m. Before they wake up, but in the winter, when it's darker and colder, he waits until the kids are on their way. The MLB opening series is a big event attracting attention from global sports fans. lost and found etiquette. Is it on me as the host to deliver items left behind? 2 weeks later, the Philippines announced that it had signed agreements with Britain and Canada to increase the defense of the cooperation. A draft outline of the agreement was provided to the New York Times by a Serbian official. Santos also described himself recently as the future of a democratic Europe itself is now in question. In light of recent comments made by Senior Presidential Secretary for Civil and Social Affairs, Huang, he has urged him to voluntarily step down. Envoy should return home. You needed to gauge public sentiment. Boyfriend in no hurry to walk down the aisle. Give him 6 more months, during which you do not mention the word marriage. Boyfriend in no hurry to walk down the aisle. Verify information before making a decision that can influence the outcome of your plan. Don't take a risk. If any other readers have tried this and experienced good or bad results, I'd love to hear about it. Meet the artist, delighting Amsterdam. Thanks to Frank, a wander through the city led to playful discovery. One of the most pressing issues facing Mr. Trump is the financial disparity he and allied groups now faced with Mr. Biden and the Democratic Party. Financial disparity. His father, M, had business delivering props and furniture to theatrical companies that were renting to the silent film industry, which had production facilities in other parts of the city. Use in turn is no guarantee. Use in turn, no guarantee of competency. The book is most successful as behind the scenes look at how society, a legal system, and the family failed a woman who had been sexually abused by a series of men, starting when she was 5 years old. If you don't persevere through something that's a little bit hard, sometimes you never get the benefits, she said. That's not only because the term is an Orwellian linguistic uh, atrocity with all the emotive oomph of a PowerPoint slide. After all, AI often makes surprising mistakes. Teaching my kids Judaism, one plate of apples at a time, I asked both my girls what they thought they could do to help our community be a better place. That's because computers by themselves cannot yet and might never be able to produce truly groundbreaking creative work. If it is exemplariness or accomplishment that qualifies one for an orbit, it is clear that any species that is well enough observed will reveal extraordinary feats among its members, from elephants, whose behavior indicates that they grieve dead relatives, to a laboratory rat who elect to free a trapped fellow rat rather than eat a treat, to dogs whose daily presence elevate the lives of the people whose company they keep. This, you don't know how hard it is for me to fire you all. Vulnerability is something people can stop doing, please. Late husband's family bothering me. I'm so sorry that your husband died and that your in-laws are making life harder for you. How nations are losing a race to regulate the AI. Like similar system, Gemini can get facts wrong. Refuse to let emotions interfere with the decision. Oil and natural gas prices have fallen from their 22 peaks. So the subsidy is probably shrank, and the world price of carbon dioxide emissions probably rebounded in 2023, as the chief executive of Grow Intelligence said in an interview. To be sure, your colleague can be expected to avoid writing about absolutely anything she learns in the meetings. Training truck drivers has taken on new urgency in Britain, where a supply chain crisis in recent weeks has draped a cloak of anxiety over the country as it heads into winter. The biggest shock came 7 months later when Miss R was finally recalled. Rules posted by 4chan that apply site-wide do not specifically prohibit sexually explicit AI-generated images of real adults. No matter what, Ukraine will go its own way. The science of strengthening your mind include tools such as mental exercises, sleep habits, and diet that can help boost the memory. One such Chinese company was the McVie facial recognition firm backed by GGV. The government has implemented numerous measures to stop school violence since the 2000s, but school bullying has only gone more violent and cunning. Like many publications, the voice was divided into two halves. Orangey, green, and blue. The mixture of these vibrant colors is not something you'd commonly expect to see at a commercial bank's branch in Korea. All told, European leaders missed yet another opportunity to show how they plan to strengthen NATO's European pillar, establish greater deterrence on the continent, stabilize the neighborhood, and develop a robust European defense industry that is how to see to their own security. Co-opt. But at night, mucus can build up and trigger your instinct to cope and clear your airs. I recount this story proudly. A man pinned me to my bed. The idea of a nuclear detonation in space is not new. Your wish will become wheat. Conservatives have their own version of this insistence that to fall from grace is to fall forever. Taiwan was toast. H had said. Taiwan was toast. Iced drink. Talk about how some people prepare only cold drinks. The tour would be managed by a board with representatives of the Grand Slam events, the other big tournaments, the ATP and the WTA. But despite being roughly as synonymous with countercultural coolness as water is with wetness, R owns Grace University, a 2,000-student gym in Torrance, California, and provided expert testimony on behalf of Greener in its lawsuit. Content that definitely goes a lot farther is people who are a little bit more entertaining and less educational. We compensate the influencers for their content through partnerships, always ensuring that content for any of our products and the outcomes of treatment are appropriately represented. A representative for the company wrote in an email. Her size is incredible. Survival is everything. The recent fires in Canada may be a disorienting cultural tipping point. There have been cases, for example, where a government or a wealthy individual had sought to obscure accurate public information, or even to take retaliatory action against the volunteer who published it. Oppenheimer also won the trophies for Best Director, Best Score, Editing, and Cinematography. A spring of water. Some sensitive guides who are concerned about the water supply system in Mexico due to water scarcity and the droughts, inadequate drinking water quality, wastewater treatment, and inefficient utilities suggested that travelers should not drink tap water. As much as I loved my flip phone life and the mental reset it provided, I think that I might get fired if I failed to respond in a timely manner to Slack messages and email as often as I did in the months. Mental reset. Choose to do what makes you happy. Bitcoin hits new record high above 100 million won in Korea. T. The Buddhist monk and Zen master witnessed great suffering in Vietnam during both the French and the American wars. Details of the Bank of Korea's data, however, revealed both worrying and encouraging the encouraging aspect of the economy. Competitors and the partners. Originally a financial subsidiary of the Sears retail chain, Discover developed in the early 1990s as a credit card network before being acquired. Before being acquired in 1997 by Morgan Stanley, which made it an independent company again in 2005. As the Times reported, Trump has told advisors he's leaning toward a 16-week national abortion ban with exceptions in the case of rape and incest, and to save the life of their mother. During a 2-year period at Columbia University, studying after the history under M, he plunged headlong into making art, opening long-term recurring series. While these people insisted that the palace had not orchestrated the sighting, officials did not push back on the newspapers that published the images, which was out of character for William, who has pressured papers not to run paparazzi type of photos. All this because there may not be enough pre-water left underground for long. When stating estranged wife is unsure what future hold. We had developed what I thought was a good relationship based on mutual respect and trust. Last summer, there were 100 million Americans under heat advisory, and heat across Europe was called record-breaking then as well. Record-breaking. They agreed that keeping their clients outfitted in wrist candy has become an integral part of their jobs over the last decade or so. Outfitted. And then the manufacturing base of the United States and its European allies proved inadequate to supply Ukraine with the material particularly needed to stabilize, let alone win, the war. The online reseller ThredUp site research projecting that the market for second-hand clothing in the United States will double over the next 5 years, hitting $77 billion. Reseller.